Welcome to another edition of the Nerds Delight podcast. We your host today, JayRow.
And CrumpCasso.
Welcome. This is kind of like, I would say, I don't want to say a special edition episode, but I do want to say it is an episode that I wanted to do personally because I love wrestling. So, and also wanted to get CrumpCasso's opinion as well as like my opinion on this story. It's a two-part story. So the first story is, before we even get into everything, click like and subscribe to the channel, to tune into our past content, current content, and future content. And to kick it off, the story is basically about the return of Vince McMahon to WWE, and also the resignation of his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, as the co-CEO of WWE. So I can go into a little backstory for you, Crump, if you need me to, but I know I sent articles to you. So, I mean, whichever way you prefer, I'm happy to do it.
I would like to hear some backstory. I want to hear what you got because, just reading up on it was cool. But I know you like this is your thing. Like this, you're a fanatic. So I kind of curious to hear like what other knowledge I may have missed like in the articles and everything. So I kind of want to hear what you got to say like as far as the backstory and a little more knowledge.
Well, on my end, thanks. And one thing I will say is like the articles we were talking about is a Bleacher Report article and also from CNBC. So the article, basically the gist of it all is there was rumblings before all this went down. Like, so let's even go back a little bit to like summer of last year when allegations from Vince McMahon happened about the sexual misconduct of employees, the disrespect to other talent in the business, female talent in the business, that led to him having to remove himself from power and supplementing that power to his daughter, Nick Khan, and Triple H, which Nick Khan and Stephanie were the co-CEOs of WWE, and Triple H was the chief content officer for WWE, and the product itself was like running really well at that. And it was like, you see the reports of the morale of the talent was high. Before all this was going on, Jordan, they were doing like a lot of like budget cuts and they were cutting talent. There was like people were feeling uneasy in the locker room as wrestlers and even staff people who work, in the office there. There was like a lot of unease, a lot of just negativity there. And I mean, granted, like it's the man's company, he created the company, but at the end of the day, you get to a point where dude is 78 years old and like, you're like, it's like stuff can pass you by. And what I'm saying, and not just in a creative sense, but also me like in a societal sense too, because like I said, that kind of behavior you can kind of get away. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that people with money like that can get away with a lot of behavior like that. Back then, now it's not the case.
Right.
And now it's like, we deal with a lot of cancel culture and we deal with a lot of, making sure people are owning up to the crimes that they commit. And I think with him, this is the case of going fast forward into last week where you hear rumblings of him coming back. And my thing, and Edwin Black Chia, he said that he's gonna come back. He predicted this like months ago. He said he watched Vince gonna come back, and I was like, I didn't believe him because in New York, my brother didn't believe him, but no, Evan was right on it, man, because he just said he's such a control freak to a point where like he can't see the company do well without him,
right?
And so it's like to a point where you're looking at the business when you're looking at, so it's like this Crump, like you're doing well, you're doing so well in your music, and then you get hit with a couple of bumps, but then you say like you sell your song to somebody, and then someone gets hot off that song that you sold, and then you're upset, and then they building a foundation from that song, and they continue, and they're making it greater and greater and greater and greater.
Yeah.
To a point where you're just sitting there watching, you like, nah, I can't let I can't let and so like, dang, like now you see all this stuff happening. So what happened with Vince was, and it was slick, because I mean, I think this is what I think. This is obviously my opinion. He tried to go with the business of, I'm gonna sell the company so that, I don't know if it's private, public, whatever, it's a public company now. But I don't know if they're going to try to sell it to make it private or public. I don't know. Like, we're still waiting for particulars. But he went under the guise of, I'm going to sell the company, and so he was like, I'm not going to touch the creative content stuff and all the other stuff. I'm not going to do what I was before. I'm just trying to facilitate a sale.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, when he's like, it's like you ever heard of a show called Succession?
Yeah, I never seen it, but I heard it. Yeah.
Basically, this is like Succession. It's like that kind of like family drama being into, like, bleeding into the business, and then the older guy is put out, but then he finds a way to get back on because he doesn't like seeing. It's like I told you, it's like I don't know if you've seen Young and the Restless or stories like that, when you see like the son running the business, or the kids running the business, and then you don't like how they're running it, so you want to do it, or you don't like the way that they're getting successful without your input. So it's just basically, that's what I think is what I think it really is.
Yeah. I got a question for you too. I think that's like a perfect like segue. You mentioned about him coming back and everything. I saw somebody, well, again, with me not being a fanatic, like I try to keep up with wrestling, but I'm not, obviously, I don't watch it like religiously or whatever. So I didn't really have a opinion on it. When I heard that he left, and I heard about the accusations, like I heard about that, months ago when it first happened. And I was like kind of shocked. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be, because similar to what you were saying earlier, like a lot of people, especially have power and wealth, they, a lot of some people, and I'm not saying it's the case with Vince, but people feel like they can kind of get away with everything. So I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. But when I heard about it, to me, it was just like, oh wow, I was shocked, but I was like, okay, I mean, this is what it is. Like you said earlier, it's kind of what the culture is right now. Like people find out about scandals and everything, and people either get fired or they step away.
Yeah.
In Vince's case, he stepped away, he stepped down. But that was as far as my mind took it. Like, again, because I don't watch wrestling like that. That's kind of as far as my mind took it. Like, well, he's gone now, whatever. So my question to you is, because I saw someone say this online that kind of similar to what you said, Black Uchiha was saying, that they were saying the same thing online. They were like, man, I knew this was going to happen. I knew he's going to come back. So I was going to ask you, I know you said you didn't think he would, but now that you have the knowledge that you have, do you think that this was his plan all along, to just step away while the heat was on, and then after kind of settles a little bit to come back? Or do you think it was more of a by chance he stepped away and now he's seen how things are being running, and now he's like, oh, I can kind of come back in?
No, it's the first one. Because you gotta think about it. This is a guy who is so used to being in control of everything. And you see it's just like I was telling you earlier, like I used the example of your music.
Right.
He just can't sit well with him. Right. And then it's also like he lost. Like it's like he got pushed out of his thing. Yeah. It wasn't like he left on his own terms. He left because of cancel culture, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, when I see that, it's like kind of like a sour taste in my mouth, because I'm looking at the product. Because remember when I told you, like, I was already like pro AEW anyway.
Right.
And when this shift happened, I don't know if I told you, I actually increased my viewership of WWE. Because I just got to a point, man, when you watch the product, you get to a point where you just kind of like, you feel like your intelligence is being insulted a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to watch something I can't get with anymore. I can't connect with anymore on a level I'm not as passionate about. That's why. And then also they were releasing a lot of people that I felt like they should never have released because they would have brought eyes to the product, and I just thought it was a bad look at the time.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you got things running smoothly with Stephanie and Triple H running the show, and it's just a matter of like I'm not a part of it. I'm not a part of this great thing going on with wrestling right now. And I want to take it back, and I want to be able to do what I want to do. They try to say right now he's not in control of that part of the WWE. He's just trying to facilitate the sale. He's just trying to be a part of the day-to-day operations and stuff like that. But it's only a matter of time. He's like Black Chia was saying, he thinks that he's gonna run it into the ground, like it gets to a point where it's unwatchable. And because he doesn't watch it like that anymore.
Yeah.
His wife watches it, but he doesn't watch it like that anymore. And I'm like at a point where if it does turn out to be the case of Vince taking over again, I don't want to watch it because he was doing a horrible job as a creative creative director for WWE. And it was like I said, it was insulting.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you actually beat me to the punch. You've been like on it tonight. I was gonna I had another question, but you basically just answered my question. I was gonna say because I haven't been watching it lately, but I saw some people online saying that ever since he stepped away, it's been getting better. And I was like, that ain't a good look for him. Ain't a good look for him. Like it's one thing for it to be running. It's one thing for it to be running smoothly and just kind of like coasting, but for it to be doing better, it's not a good look for you. And I was going to ask you what your opinion on that, but you just made it very clear just now that you feel like he's, it's downhill for him in terms of creativity, in terms of I guess good plot and just a good show overall. So he might need us to stay in the background.
He does, and it's sad, man. It's like, man, you 78 years old, man. You should be you're a billionaire. You shouldn't even be working, man. You should just be relaxed and enjoying your life. But and with your family, but I don't know if you got as far as you did with the reading. It's like he's not even with his family like that anymore. Because like it's like there's like a lot of rumbles, and I'm not going to sit here and cast aspersions on like what's going on in their personal lives and stuff like that. All I can tell you is like there's a reason why like Stephanie stepped down. She wanted to take a leave of absence beforehand, all before this scandal stuff broke. And then when the scandal stuff broke and he had to remove himself, she came back as the CEO. And then when there was rumblings of Vince coming back, and then when he comes back, she steps down.
Right.
So there's a disconnect there. There's like this is not me giving you like an inside scoop because I don't know these people. I don't know anything about these people.
Right.
But I'm not dumb, and you can tell like if something's like that family's fractured.
Right. Yeah.
And so Stephanie's husband Triple H is like, it's only a matter of time before he gets to a point where he's either going to step away or he's going to get booted.
Right.
Because it's just sad, dude. And it's sad because this is like it shouldn't even have to go that way.
Yeah, I agree.
So but yeah, man, I really wanted to touch on this story, like, and give my opinion about it because I feel like it's I love wrestling. I love WWE. I mean, I loved WWE. I mean, I love what it could be if the right things happen. But that can be saved for another episode. But I just really wanted to touch on the story right now that has kind of taken over the wrestling business right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you think any other family will get like involved in terms of like holding positions within the company?
Not unless he steps away.
Wow.
Because Shane, man, I don't know if you remember Shane.
Yeah.
He,
Shane O'Mac.
yeah, he's not with it no more.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought he might have been still involved somehow, like in the background, but I wasn't aware. Right, wow.
I mean, he was like obviously he was doing. He came back a few years later. I mean, a few years earlier, and he's been with the company for a minute. Then he left last year
Wow.
over some creative booking issues that possibly could have. Like I said, I'm not casting aspersions. Like he possibly could have. Like it was probably some internal stuff about what's going on.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but it's just sad because this could definitely cause major damage to the product going forward.
For real.
People are going to be on, like, I mean, when I mean people, I mean wrestling fans, wrestling media, as well as the wrestling talent are going to be on, like, you know, on their like eyes, just basically. I mean, they're going to be basically walking with eyes in the back of their head, or not even just that, just kind of just going to be, got to be aware at all times what's going on.
Right.
Because they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So right now it's a wait and see kind of thing, because no one knows everything. We don't know everything right now. We don't know how WWE is going to get sold. Like, we don't know at this time. Like, people were saying Saudi Arabia was going to buy it, but that's not the case. So right now it's a lot of conjecture and a lot of like people guessing. So until like concrete stuff comes out, we don't know.
Right.
So is there anything else we want to add before we close out this episode?
No, I'm just curious to see where this roller coaster is going to go. I think it's going to be a lot of shifts and changes within like the next year. I don't think it's going to be nothing immediate, but I think like throughout the rest of this year, I think it's going to be a bunch of like roller coasters, up and downs and twists and turns. I'm really curious to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, this 2023 is already shaping up to be an interesting year, and it hasn't even like gotten 3 weeks in yet.
Right. Right.
So, just get along for the ride, see what's going to happen. I mean, and like, I'm very curious to see how their WrestleMania is going to turn out, because WrestleMania is in April for them.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Royal Rumble is in a couple weeks, so I don't think anything major is going to happen there, but things could change. I would say between Royal Rumble and SummerSlam, which is in August, we might see a different company.
Yeah.
But only time will tell.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Click like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for, as always, giving us your time. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.